Hi guys, Bobby and Vinny here from Peak Performance Academy, and today's Coach's Corner. We got a question from a client, and David asked what supplements would we recommend as coaches to our clients, and we kind of go through maybe our kind of top 5 that we would recommend. And again, with supplementation, we would always say to a person, the first thing is you look at dietary intake. And if your diet needs, remember they're named supplements for a reason, they're meant to supplement a good diet. They're not meant to take over from actual food. So we would look at a person's diet first, and then from there we'd see what's lacking, and if we can't get in through dietary intake, and if a person would struggle to get that amount of food in, or a certain type of food in, we would look to supplementation from there.
Yeah, I suppose anytime you go on social media now, you have someone trying to sell a new supplement, or this one works or something like so. It's easy to get carried away and overwhelmed about all the supplements that are out there, knowing which you should be taking and which you shouldn't be taking. And there's really only a few that are kind of going to get the best bang for your buck, really, and it's going to come down after even diet, just kind of convenience and into your lifestyle. I suppose the main one everybody wants to talk about is protein. You have to take protein into your diet, and most of the time you could get enough protein through foods, but it can be really convenient way for you, and it's such a research product. If you get a really good quality one, it can be so convenient. We both know post-workout for us we have oats, and it's so handy to have a protein there. It tastes better, it's easy digestible, and it's going to be quite good as well, rather than having chicken all day every day.
Just on the protein, you have your whey protein, and you've got your whey protein isolate. That's the one I would personally use myself. It's quicker to digest into the bloodstream, and I find that post-workout, like I say, it's quite a nice and handy thing for us as coaches for our post-workout. So kind of protein is something that people get carried away with too. They think they have to take in so much protein into their diet. Most people, general population we're talking about now, will lack protein intake, and if they can't get it through food, a protein shake can be something that can be very handy if they are stuck to get in that extra 30 or 40 grams.
And the protein, I remember when I was 15 or 16 going to the gym, you had to have a protein shake straight away after the gym, if you wanted to get bigger or if you wanted to recover, and not taking into consideration the rest of the day, how much you're eating and stuff like that. And you thought if you didn't have protein shake, you weren't going to get bigger, and obviously it didn't work.
So basically with protein, like you said, that's ones we would recommend to people if they are struggling to get their protein to their diet and they can't get it through food. But I would definitely recommend it to somebody that's training a lot, because remember, if we're trying to build lean tissue, we're trying to get stronger, fitter, faster protein powder especially can help just keep your protein up. And remember, protein is made up of aminos, and a good quality protein will have every essential amino that you need in it. From there we'll probably move to creatine as being the next one that we would recommend for people an awful lot, especially in strength sports. But as general across the board, creatine can be an excellent supplement. Basically, our body produces creatine, but not at enough rate that we would actually need, especially if you're training, especially if you're lifting weights. You're putting your body and your central nervous system, especially through that higher stress when you lift weights and you do some training. So creatine, when we supplement with it, will help a huge amount in recovery. Muscle recovery also helps to pull some water into muscle tissue, so it really can help between sets when you're doing sets in the gym, and also when you go home and you're resting and digesting and trying to repair your body. Creatine can be a massive driver for that as well. So that's something we would recommend.
I say it's so well researched as well, creatine, that it is safe to use. And if we get carried away, I think it's steroids or something like that. It was just demonized before, but it is a very good supplement. I suppose the next one after that we kind of talk about would be a good quality fish oil for people who don't get a lot of fish through their diet. And I know I definitely don't anyway, so I like to be eating fish every day, and a really good quality fish oil really helps omega-3, omega-6. And you see, what you learn about fish oils is if you're getting one and if you can taste it, or if it tastes kind of a bit off, or if you're burping right after you're taking it, it's gone off, it's going to be no good to you, and it's going to be no benefit to you. The only thing it's going to hurt really is the wallet.
So yeah, good quality fish oil is definitely something that we recommend a massive amount, because people are lacking that bit of omega-3. Remember, it's one of our essential amino acids, fatty acids. So we aren't getting that. Our body doesn't produce it. It produces 6 and 9. So 3 has to come from your fish sources and stuff like that. So again, it's I'd say 90% of the people coming in would be lacking that, and it would be one we would put up there in the top 3 definitely. When we move to number 4, probably I would say zinc and magnesium would definitely be 2 of the ones that we find that can help people massively with inflammation from training. It also combined between zinc and magnesium can help with sleep. It can help to relax muscle after training and help to repair muscle as well, because when we train we damage muscle fibers and we want that repair process to be as best as we can. So we're taking in our adequate protein, we're taking in our creatine, and then we are taking in maybe some zinc and magnesium to help that whole process along. So that could be something that can be very beneficial for somebody that trains an awful lot. And if you don't eat a lot of red meat, you could be a slight bit deficient in zinc. So we get a lot of zinc from red meat, so you could look at somebody's dietary intake there. Not that it's essential to take in red meat, but it is very, very high in zinc. So I would always kind of recommend somebody at least once a week, if they're not a vegan or vegetarian, to take in red meat once a week.
Like Bobby says, Sarah, when you're coming down towards these supplements now, people think if they have any kind of problems with sleep, recovery, stress, anything like these are going to fix them. And it's not. None of these are magic. Like a lot of these you get through nutritionally. And if you have looked at, it's only when you've looked at your nutrition and your training and your work life and your social life, and if you're trying to manage all of those as best as you can, that's when you can go towards a supplement. Because they're not gonna, if you're stressed out of your head with work, or you're not eating a good nutritional diet, these aren't going to fix you, and you're just going to be saying that they don't work then.
Yeah, 100%. And when we look at the pyramid of nutrition, supplementation is going to be the very last. In that, you would say that would be in the bottom of your pyramid, the most important to the least important, and that the supplementation is going to be at the very, very top, because all the other factors should be looked at first, and that's what we would always do in an assessment when we're doing a consultation for nutrition. We would always look at all the external factors, and then we look at where the person is currently dietary wise, and we look at intake of certain food types and seeing, okay, what do we think might be deficient there, and then maybe we might start to implement a bit of supplementation. But again, I wouldn't get too carried away with it. There is massive research on, we'll say, the main ones we've mentioned there, because they're really popular, and outside that spectrum you can do your herbs and your spices and all that stuff that you can look into, and more on I would kind of not label it, but the functional nutrition side. And there's a lot of stuff written about different types of spices and herbs and that you can actually add to your diet to help certain things. So that would be another side of it as well. But for the supplementation, I hope that answers the question and kind of what we recommend.
It's a lot cheaper, and it tastes a lot better to just spend your money on eating a wide variety of like protein and veg and fruit and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot better for your overall health, and you're going to cover a majority of bases through that. Because
like it's our micro minerals and our nutrients and that are going to be most important in our body, and that's what we need to be taking in. So the general thing, and everybody's heard this 50,000 times, taking in more fruit and veg in your diet is going to improve your health. Yes, it will, because you're taking in more nutrients. And then obviously looking at your protein sources and good quality protein sources. Try to stick to your diet when you've got kind of a single ingredient diet, about 80% of the time, coming from whole foods and coming from good quality foods. There'll be very little you'll be lacking in. There might be just one or two things you need to add in, maybe that fish oil, maybe that protein, because you train a lot with weights and doing a lot of output, and maybe a bit of creatine after that. Do you know? You should be fairly okay. So I hope that answers your question, David, on supplementation. If anybody has any other questions, please message us on our social media pages, and we will love to answer your questions. So anything at all, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Ask the question, and we will do our very, very best to answer it to the best of our knowledge in a video in the coming weeks. Okay guys, if you'd like to hear, you find us on peakperformancekillarney.com, all our social media pages, also our YouTube channel, Peak Performance Killarney, where all our videos are uploaded, and our podcast, which is a bi-weekly podcast. You'll hear from us every 2 weeks on Reach Your Peak Podcast. Make sure you give it a listen. Thanks for listening. Beautiful.